I feel like the past few years we've been very lucky to see so many unique talents enter the league. I mean, just in the past few years we've had so many exciting prospects with so much hype. But this year, well, all the hype this season was over one player and one player only, that being Lamelo Ball. It's no secret that Lamelo Ball took the league by storm this year with his straight up phenomenal playmaking ability that you just don't see from people his age often. And so far this season, well, Lamelo Ball has blown past all expectations that people had for him. Well, maybe besides his dad LeVar Ball. But anyways, the fact is, Lamelo Ball has shown that he is capable of being one of the best talents on the team, and he's just getting started. Today, we will be discussing the fact that Lamelo Ball has a chance to show that he can be the new face of the NBA this year. And no, that's not a joke, because it really could happen if he's able to do a few things. But as always, if you enjoy this video or are new, it would be absolutely clutch if you subscribed and joined the Woods crew. As it turns out, over 95% of you guys who consistently watch the videos aren't even subscribed, so if you just hit that sub button below and dropped a like on this video, I could go full time very soon and make videos like this every single day. With all that being said though, let's just get right into what we've seen from Lamelo Ball this season since his return, and why he has a chance to become the next big name of the NBA by the end of this season. It's no secret that going into the NBA season last winter, no one really knew what to expect from the draft class of 2020. This was one of the most interesting draft classes in a while, because even though there was a clear-cut top 3 prospects, they honestly could have been drafted in any order. But in that draft, the 2 top picks were drafted based on needs instead of talent, which might have just been the biggest mistake those 2 franchises could have made. Now, don't get me wrong here, I know at the time the choice was very tough for the Timberwolves and Warriors, but the fact is, it seemed like Lamelo Ball had the most potential for stardom out of the 3 guys. Yet, here we are, Lamelo Ball fell all the way down to the 3rd pick, and the Hornets got their guy for the future and absolutely lucked out with this pick. And as of right now, it is clear that Lamelo Ball is the clear-cut most impactful rookie this year. I'm gonna save my rookie of the year for another video, but the fact is, it is very clear that Lamelo has had the biggest impact for this team winning and culture-wise, which is why many believe that he could surprise everyone in the last parts of the season. But the fact is, this season for Lamelo Ball goes far beyond potentially winning the rookie of the year award, because going into the draft last year, people didn't really know how Lamelo's game would translate to the NBA level, being that he had such a unique path to get where he is today. If you guys don't remember, Lamelo Ball played in so many different places before the draft, it was literally hard to keep track of where he was at. I mean, first he was playing varsity basketball at Chino Hills with his brothers Lonzo and Jello when he was just a middle schooler. Then his father LeVar pulled him out of school to play in Lithuania, followed by playing in a league, the JBA, that LeVar Ball made himself. Then Spire Academy, and finally overseas as a pro in Australia before entering the draft. But my point is, people have questioned whether playing pro at a young level is better for development than college, and even though I thought the answer was pretty obvious, others didn't. But since entering the league, Lamelo Ball has proved that his path is better than college for the most part, which could lead to a revolution of players skipping out on college and going straight to the pros, whether it's the G League or overseas. This would allow them to gain a ton of experience compared to college, where the top prospects might just dominate without getting any better. And you can't deny that being overseas in the pros for a year helped Lamelo Ball in a big way. Now I know, he was already gifted, but my man entered the league looking like a playmaking veteran just halfway through the season. Not to mention the flair that he brought with his passing that not only made the Hornets franchise relevant, but also allowed them to win more and get to the play-in game, which is very exciting for this team. But the fact is, this is not where the Lamelo Ball hype ends, because my man could show that he is the next face of the NBA if he does one thing: win in the playoffs this year. I know, it sounds crazy, but just hear me out here, because there are some points to this that you might not have considered. It's clear that since LeBron James entered the league, there is yet to be a player that has shown that he is the next one up. When MJ was declining, it was clear that Kobe was the next one. And when Kobe was declining, well, LeBron had already solidified himself as one of the best in the league, and undeniably one of the most hyped prospects of his century. But right now, well, we just don't have that next guy yet, and LeBron, well, he's getting up there in age as well. This means that the next face of the NBA is up for grabs, and there have definitely been a lot of names thrown in the mix for this feat. First, it was Giannis, after winning back-to-back MVP awards and looking like one of the most dominant players in the game. But then, the Bucks had their struggles in the playoffs, so this was somewhat shrugged off. Then we had Luka Doncic, who very similarly to Lamelo Ball came into the league and put everyone on notice with his ability to dominate at the NBA level, especially on the offensive side of the ball. But yet again, the Mavs have yet to have success in the playoffs as well with Luka. And finally, we had Zion Williamson, undeniably the most hyped prospect since LeBron James. This man literally was making highlights every single time he went up for a dunk on the court, but since entering the league has just been criticized for his weight and hasn't been able to win for his team in the playoffs, even if he has been playing tremendously high level individually. Do you guys see the pattern here? All these guys, despite being amazing individually, just haven't been deemed the next ones up because of their inability to put the team on their backs in the playoffs when it matters most, and make a deep playoff run right away in their career. Don't get me wrong here, in no way am I bashing the players that I mentioned, because what I just mentioned is a lot easier said than done, and in fact is very rare. Even guys like LeBron James were not able to get their teams into the playoffs in their rookie season, so the fact is, if Lamelo Ball is able to do this while playing great basketball, it's that much more impressive. There aren't many rookies who can come into the league and elevate a team from a losing franchise to one of the most exciting in the league, and that is exactly what Lamelo Ball has been able to do for the Hornets. But as much as the flashy passes and great regular season performances help the team, the true test is in the postseason where everyone is locked in and playing their best basketball. If Lamelo Ball is able to show out this year and get the Hornets not only past the play-in games but past the first round of the playoffs, there is no doubt in my mind that he will be deemed one of the best young players in the league and has a chance of becoming the new face of the NBA once the king is gone. Now, is it likely that this happens? Honestly, at this moment, no. But let's just get right into the main things that Lamelo Ball and the Hornets need to do if they want to make a solid playoffs run and surprise everyone this year. With the Hornets having a mediocre record this season, they are one of the lowest seeds that would get into the playoffs, which has led many people to shrugging them off as a team that didn't have what it takes to be the best in the East. In my eyes though, this is where the analysts and fans are completely wrong. I mean, last year in the East, we just saw a team in the Miami Heat who was a 6 seed go all the way to the NBA Finals with their young core. And even if it was because of the bubble, in my eyes, regardless of whether or not there are fans in the arena, the Hornets will play the exact same. I don't know about you, but for me, I believe that Lamelo Ball and a majority of the young Hornets core would be the type of players to feed off of the fans and not be negatively impacted by them at all. But that is a whole nother topic in itself. Anyways though, I don't care what seed this Hornets team is, you just have to admit that this team is just different. If you guys have watched this team play, especially when Lamelo Ball is in the game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I feel like this is just one of those rare teams that is so electric and has the ability to catch fire that they could shock everyone and even some of the best teams in the East, even in the West as well. Guys like Miles Bridges, LaMelo, Terry Rozier, or even role players like Caleb Martin all have the ability to make fantastic plays on the court, which could change the course of the game just because of the momentum shift. All it takes is one flashy pass, insane dunk, or anything like that to get this team going. And the Hornets, well, they do those types of things every single game, which is why I believe they could be very dangerous come playoff time. Regardless though, there are a few teams this team needs to do if they want to stand a chance against the best in the East with their current roster, and a lot of that comes down to Lamelo Ball himself and if he can take it up a notch in the postseason like a true great. If the Hornets want to succeed in the playoffs or even have a chance for that matter, the most important thing is that their key players in Lamelo Ball and Miles Bridges are not only healthy but have no rust and are ready to play their best basketball in the play-in tournament. Like it or not, Lamelo Ball has shown flashes that he's a future star, and if he can just do that in the playoffs with this Hornets team consistently, they could very well cause some trouble for others even if it doesn't seem like they have what it takes. But aside from the obvious, it's also key that not only Lamelo and the other key players on this team take it up a notch, but the bench does as well. In my eyes, this Hornets team is very young, so it will be very important to get guys like Jaden McDaniels minutes in the playoffs because they could very well produce similar results like how the Heat's young core performed last year. McDaniels has been great for filling the role of the injured players, but when the starters return and he comes off the bench, it will be key that he keeps playing high-level basketball and leads the bench unit with his ability to score and be aggressive on the offensive end of the ball. But although the Hornets have had a very promising young core, there is one thing that is somewhat missing from them. That thing being a center, and saying that this is one of the biggest issues for this team is an absolute understatement. Despite being stacked at the guard position, this Hornets team has had issues in their front court all year, and in my eyes is one of the biggest reasons that they could be held back in the playoffs. As of right now, in my eyes, PJ Washington is who this team needs to have at the center position if they even want a chance at winning. We saw the Houston Rockets with one of the best scorers in the league fail running small ball, so I just can't help but feel the outcome will be the same for the Hornets. But hey, you never know with this team because like I said, they are just different and very special. It's safe to say that the 2021 NBA playoffs will be a lot more important for Lamelo Ball and the Hornets than people think. Because if Lamelo balls out and gets this team past where they're expected to be, this narrative could completely change for him, and honestly, he could be the next generational talent that only comes around so often in the NBA. But I guess all we can do is watch this play-in game and see how the Hornets team really does. Thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy it, it would mean the world if you subscribed if you're new and joined the Woods crew, but regardless, I really appreciate it if you're still watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Woods out.